Face. That. Oh yeah.
But we don't want them waiting around.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice cool day.
Hello, welcome to the Happy Harvest Homestead. Boy, do I have an interesting video for you. Be prepared to be amazed at the change in our colony. Look at what we've done. So, yeah, we have begun the process of making our colony a dirt floor instead of bedding. As you can tell, we're far from done. We don't even have a complete initial first layer, but let me get comfortable so I can explain everything. Okay. We've had many rabbits in many different styles of colony for years and years, and for a long while we had rabbits in this area using deep bedding, and I really found that I enjoyed that way of doing things, and for a while I thought I would just keep doing deep bedding forever, until we switched our goats from deep bedding to a solid dirt floor, and every morning I'll just sweep the poop off of the floor. So I don't have to deal with bedding. I don't have to deal with bedding buildup. For a while, the bedding would build up so high that it was hard to open the doors of the stalls, and cleaning it out was a huge chore. And because the goat barn was set up a little bit differently than the rabbits, I had to keep cleaning it out more often than I would have liked to. So it was getting pretty annoying. So I thought, hey, why don't I just try having a solid dirt floor and sweeping up the poop instead of letting it collect and covering it with bedding. So we've been doing that with the goats for a couple months, and I loved it so much that I decided the rabbits should have the same style of flooring. But we've already gone to all the trouble of building up a foot or more of deep bedding, so I didn't want to take all the bedding out of here and start from scratch, because that would have been a waste of all this awesome bedding that the rabbits need to be able to dig proper burrows. So I decided to just add a whole bunch of dirt on top. And though right now it looks fresh and fluffy and poop won't be very easily slipped off of it, when we completely finish all the layers and before we put the rabbits back in, we're going to tamp it down with our feet and stomp it and make it flat and level and hard so it's easier to sweep the poop off of the surface. So ease of cleaning is one reason why I'm switching to a solid colony dirt floor. Another reason is the cheapness of it. When you use deep bedding, you need like a source of bedding to keep putting on, adding layers. And for a large colony, that can get quite expensive. For a while, it wasn't that big of a deal, but especially this winter when we had two colonies, this one for the adults and little babies, and then a separate colony for the grow-outs, we went through straw like crazy, and we were buying a whole bunch of straw, and it was getting really expensive. And while we were able to find some short-term solutions for that, at that point I began to realize how beneficial not having to continually buy bedding for a deep bedding system would be. In addition to ease of cleaning and saving money, I really like the benefits a dirt floor will bring to our burrowing and tunneling system. Our homestead is basically dug out of the side of a hill, and here in southwest Missouri, our dirt is mostly just rock and clay. So we began with very little topsoil, and then our entire farmyard, all the topsoil has been dug away, and we're down to the very, very clay and very, very rock middle layer of the hill. So we don't have any awesome, rich, deep, easily dug through soil for the rabbits to dig burrows in. And our colony rabbits for a long while would try to dig burrows, but the dirt was just too hard even for rabbits, which I was surprised about. Rabbits are notorious for digging really huge burrows and moving huge rocks out of their path, but I guess the ground was too hard for our rabbits. There were some places they were able to dig, which were softer, but it wasn't in the middle of the colony. It was more towards the end where I guess the rain must have softened the ground a little bit. In addition to the super hard soil we have in general, like the barn floor is kind of really packed dirt, and I guess because the dirt hasn't been rained on for like years and years and years because the barn roof is like blocking the rain as it is supposed to, I guess the ground was just too hard even for our rabbits to dig through. For a while I was hoping that our deep bedding would eventually get big enough to where the rabbits could dig burrows just in the bedding itself, but it took a long time for us to get there. And then by this point, we finally reached our goal where the bedding is deep enough that they can dig pretty well into it. but it's just barely at that point, and oftentimes when I step on top of the burrow on accident, it'll kind of cave in and collapse a little bit. So adding another couple feet in everywhere, and even deeper in some places, of awesome dirt that's soft and freshly turned and very easy to dig through will be a huge benefit. As you can also see here, we've taken this opportunity to bury our nest boxes in dirt, just leaving the very tops exposed. We'll eventually cover most of the little tunnels as well to make our nest boxes even more like natural burrows. And as you saw in the last video I made about our colony, the rabbits are digging burrows into the actual dirt finally. I think it's finally deep enough to where they start getting a good burrow dug, and then they get really confident and excited to keep digging, and then I guess they just push through and dig into the actual dirt. I guess before it was too discouraging. I don't know what their problem was, but they were not digging burrows for the longest time. So now they'll have a whole bunch of fresh dirt and bedding, so hopefully they will have some places where it is like an actual burrow in the actual dirt. But we'll have to see how that all plays out. And that leads me to yet another reason why I chose to do a dirt floor, is keeping our rabbits cool through the summer. Burrows will play a huge part in this, letting our rabbits dig to stay cool, and giving our rabbits dirt to lay in is much more cooling than giving them bedding. This will be a bit of an experiment because this dirt will not be like on ground level, so I'm not sure how much the coolness will be as like the regular dirt layer on the ground level, but I'm hoping that it will help. And that's part of the reason why we buried our nest boxes, is so that the nice cool dirt can sort of insulate it through the summer heat. Another reason I wanted to do a solid dirt floor is because of poop and parasites and cleaning. I kind of touched on this briefly in the first reason why, but I kind of want to go into more depth. Those of you who have been following this channel for a while will know that we've been dealing with a mysterious colony sickness. I have still yet to for sure figure out what is causing the rabbits to get skinny and drop dead, but through a few more things unfolding, I've come to suspect that it's a parasite. I don't know how they got it. I don't know what type of parasite it is. I can't find any signs of parasites, even when I do a necropsy. But Ladybug's death gave me the final nudge to kind of actually consider that as the most likely possibility now. So if I'm right, and it is parasites causing them to get sick, then this entire colony floor and all the bedding is infected with the parasites. And one of my main hopes with changing it to a dirt floor is, one, giving the entire colony bedding a rest and a time for the parasites to die off by taking the rabbits away. So the current ground is getting a rest, and then we're adding new, fresh, hopefully uncontaminated dirt on top, hopefully further killing off any parasites left over. And then the rabbits themselves are getting a break from this contaminated area. They are in tractors or cages, and their poop either falls through the wire, or we keep moving them around different spaces, so they're not able to recontaminate themselves on accident as easily as they used to be in the static colony where the poop is always here. Thankfully, since Ladybug's death, we have had no other rabbits die, and even before Ladybug passed away, all of our remaining rabbits were either recovering from the sickness or not getting sick at all, and that has continued to be the case. So I think finally the worst is over. We were pretty much recovered, maybe like 95% to 100% recovered, but this will just be an added benefit, an extra boost. So my hope is that when the remodeling is finished this fall and we move the rabbits back in here, they will have had a break from the parasites, and the colony will have had a break from the parasites, and we will be either all or mostly done with whatever parasite it is that's causing this problem, so that whenever we have babies this fall and winter, they either don't get it at all or just get it a tiny bit and can overcome it, so we can actually raise some kits up and butcher them like we're meant to. Little bunnies are more susceptible to parasites than adult rabbits, and you will remember that last year, as this whole sickness thing started beginning, it was the little babies who got affected first, and it took a long time for the older kids and the adults to get sick. So basically, there are 5 main things I'm hoping to accomplish with remodeling the colony, and those are: number 1, making it easier to clean; number 2, making it cheaper to house rabbits in a colony; number 3, giving my rabbits more and better burrowing options; number 4, keeping them extra cool in the summertime; and number 5, helping to finally completely cure them of the sickness and or parasites. Okay, so now that I've talked about all our reasons why, I want to show you my overall scheme and dream of how it's all going to look. As I mentioned before, this is nowhere near finished, but I kind of want to map things out and describe to you what it's going to finally look like. Alright, it'll start by walking into the goats like usual, walking through this divider door like usual into here. The door will open outwards. Because of all the extra dirt we're going to have to add, we're going to have to put a few boards like along here. So the step over is going to be a lot bigger. We're going to probably have to put some cinder blocks so there's going to be a step. And then you're going to step way over into the colony. But your foot's going to be like up here because it's so high and full of dirt. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 burrows that are completely covered, leaving only the tops and the tiny bits of dirt like over here. I'll let the rabbits themselves kind of unbury the entrances and go in, and then when they're done, they can bury it up themselves. We will continue to have these 3 nest boxes that I really like the best. This one will do something to stop the sides from closing in, and we'll put the lid back on. But these 2 huge ones, we had this interesting idea that we tried, and so far I really like. So it's a huge nest box divided in half. So you'll be at the very front, you'll have the row of nest boxes, and then this one will put all the bedding as the first layer, and this will be covered just like this one is. And then up here, I think it'll be 1, 2, 3, this one, this third one, we're going to have a pallet coming out. It's probably going to be 2 pallets long, and then we're going to have T-posts holding it. It's going to be the super high table, mainly as a place for the adult rabbits to get away from the babies, or if someone's being bullied, they can kind of get up and out of the other rabbit's space. And also a lot just for Acrobat to be up somewhere high. She loves climbing things and being on top of things and being super high. With pallets, I'll probably have, I haven't decided quite where to put it. Yeah, it might probably go right there. And then it'll be tall enough for me to go under. So if anyone makes a nest back here or is hiding back here, I won't have to crawl under anything. It'll be high enough that I can kind of stoop and go under pretty easily. And then over here is going to be one of our 2 super awesome burrowing spaces. We're going to have a piece of wood, or several pieces, coming out here, and then out here, kind of make like a huge fenced-in square, and we're going to fill the whole thing with dirt. Basically like a humongous raised bed in the colony. Instead of just doing solid wood or metal or something for the walls, we're going to have little tubes and tunnels attached in the wood. So I'll drill a little hole at the bottom and stick a tube in. So part of it will be completely buried, but part of it will be sticking out so a rabbit can go in. So if they don't want to dig their own burrows, they can go in a tunnel I've already made for them in a whole bunch of dirt. If they want to go jump on the top and dig a huge burrow, they can. This will be loose, fresh dirt for them to dig, or just be in somewhere that already has a whole bunch of dirt on top of it. So this will be one of my 2 main ways of keeping all the rabbits cool. My second area is going to be right here. It's probably going to end right here and go to there. So it's going to be a board and then board, probably up, I don't know, a good chunk. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stick some tubes in maybe a really big, like, cylindrical thing, and have it be like in the dirt, so it'll be covered except for this tiny little area right by the fence so the rabbits can kind of go in and then be in like a burrow. One thing I'm really excited about trying is we have this fish tank that leaks and we can't really use. It's pretty small, but I'm wondering if there's some way I could attach, like have it be part of the wall so it'd stick out, but the entrance would be right here. So the wall would be here. The rabbit could go through the tube in to a see-through place, so a rabbit could have a litter in like a see-through area, so we could like watch the litter and watch her nursing them. You know, if rabbits are hanging out in there, I think it'd be so cool to have like a see-through burrow. So I'm hoping to incorporate that somehow. And then same thing over here. It's gonna be super tall so that the rabbits can dig through as well if they want to make their own burrows. And then the whole rest of the area will be this level of dirt across the whole thing. So there will literally be no possible way or excuse for a buck to go heat sterile in this colony, or a doe to not want to breed because it's too hot in this colony, because there will be no way they can stay away from all the options I'm going to give them to stay cool. And really, my main hope with the staying cool and all that stuff is for us to continue to have litters throughout the whole summer. Right now, we have several months out of the year where our breeding season is completely stopped because it gets too hot. So if we can keep the rabbits cool, we can have babies all year instead of having to take a weird break in the middle of growing season, like has been happening for the past while. So there you go. You know what we've been working on, you know the reasons behind it, you know my future plans, and you are now all caught up on the colony happenings. It's going to take many, many, many more work days and pauses in between work days to get this all done. But technically, we have until the start of fall to get this all done. Though hopefully we're done with this before then. Thanks for joining me on this colony adventure. I'm having so much fun redesigning my entire colony and taking all these ideas that have been percolating in my little brain and applying them and having these dreams and cool ideas like the fish tank thing and just being able to do it. But at the same time, I'm having a really difficult time not having rabbits in a colony and dealing with all the cons of tractors. So it's a very happy and sad process, this whole remodeling thing. But I think in the long run, it's going to be well worth it. I hope you continue to join me as I give more colony remodeling updates. I plan on documenting our entire remodeling process and hopefully sharing some tips and ideas and things I've had to learn the hard way about building or rebuilding a colony. So I will end this video here and hopefully upload another colony update soon. Thanks for watching!